righty, good morning everybody. Thank you so much for being here. My name is CJ. This is the CJ Curry Show. It's presented by PrizePicks. PrizePicks, daily fantasy made easy. You pick your favorite athletes from your favorite sports, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks at a time. But now there's 6 picks. Yes, they just introduced a new feature, a new product update, a new way to play on PrizePicks. So now you could go 2, 3, 4, 5, even 6 picks to win up to 25 times your money. That's right, folks. The 5-pick flex is no longer king of the crop. They've got a 6-pick flex now. Instead of 10x being the most, you could win 25x, 25 times your money, guys. It's really hard, though. Let's be honest. A 5-pick flex is hard enough as it is, but a 6-pick flex, that's going to be difficult. It's going to be interesting to see how many people out there actually go this route. Today is Flex Friday. Flex Friday. Today is Flex Day on, today's Happy Hour. What am I saying? Today is Happy Hour on PrizePicks. So starting at some point later on in the day, you're going to be able to make minimum entries of $1. $1 on PrizePicks as well. So this might be a good day for you to perhaps dabble in these 6-pick streets. All right. You might be able to put $1 down and turn it into $25 during happy hour. All right. So this is live. Let's go ahead and just take a look at this now. Appreciate everybody being here, by the way. This announcement just went up on the PrizePicks Twitter page. So let's take a look at the video real quick together. You've got betting, gambling personality here. Book It with Trent. And some of his cohorts, colleagues, friends. This is kind of their introduction video, we'll say. The unveiling of this new feature, 6-pick flex. So there you have it, gang. 6-pick flex is live. Introducing the 6-pick flex. This is from the official PrizePicks Twitter page. Went up to 25 times your cash. Live on the web now. So if you use the desktop web browser version of PrizePicks, it's already live. It's going to be live in the App Store soon. So whether you're on Apple, whether you're on Android, it's going to be live to the PrizePicks mobile app soon. So just taking a look at this here, as it says, 6-pick flex up to 25 times your cash. So you go 6 for 6, you win 25x. 25x. So what do you guys think about this introduction, this new feature that's going to be rolling out to PrizePicks? Are you guys going to be locking in a 6-pick? I mean, let's just see what happens here whenever we click on 6 names. Well, it's telling me a maximum of 5 picks are allowed. So I don't know if it's live yet on the web. Let me refresh. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. We got 6 in there now. All right, so I just needed to refresh, but it is live up on the PrizePicks site. So if you lock in, let's just say, I don't know, we're going to go more on everybody. This is just for fun, just for an example here. You could turn $25 into $625. 6 correct, 25x. Now, if you get 5 out of 6 right, it's just a double up, gang. 5 out of 6 is just a 2x. If you get 4 out of 6 right, it is a 0.4x multiplier on your money. So what do we think about this, man? Are we liking this? 6 out of 6 for 25x, but you go 5 out of 6, it's a 2x. Meanwhile, if you go 5 out of 5, you get 10x, right? On a 5-pick flex. 4 out of 6, 0.4x. You still get a little coin back for 4 out of 6, but dang, this is pretty crazy. Pretty crazy new feature rolling out to PrizePicks. So be interested to see how many people actually go this route. I mean, for a happy hour promo, that's not a bad way to go, right? You turn $1 into $25. That's not, that's not bad. But I mean, I'm not throwing a ton of money on this. Maybe $10 for a chance to turn it into $250, but it's really, really hard to get a 5x as it is, or to get a 5-pick right as it is. But to get a 6-pick, sheesh, 6 out of 6. It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. So we'll have to see how this new payout, this new way to play rolls out. It's going to be very interesting. Let's clear our our deck here, and let's talk about some Poeltl. Appreciate everybody being here. Thanks for subscribing. If you're not subscribed yet, please do so. Make sure that notifications are turned on, and drop a like on today's live stream. Let's get into Poeltl, today's mystery player. We're trying to figure it out. We're not quite sure who it is, but our thumbnail player of the day is Jason Tatum. So let's go Jason Tatum as our first guest. It is not Jason Tatum, but this player does play in the Eastern Conference, but not in the Atlantic Division. Could be a forward, could be a guard, somebody who's about 6'8", possibly an inch or two taller, somebody younger than 24 years old with a jersey number above 0. All right. It gives us something to kind of work with. What about my guy, Paolo, right? Because he's taller than 6'10". He's taller than 6'8". He's 6'10". He's younger than 24. His jersey number is number 5. He's in the Southeastern Division. He is a forward. I think Banchero makes for a fine guess. Let's see where we're at after that one. Not Banchero, not in the Southeast Division, but is a true forward. Is exactly 6'10". Age is between 20 and 24, probably like 22, 23 if I were to guess. Jersey number is going to be one that's above 5. Above 5. We're getting some guesses rolling in here. King United on the same wavelength as me. He's saying Paolo Banchero. I thought maybe it was Banchero too, but it is not Banchero. We're getting some guesses of R.J. Barrett, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think Giannis is a little bit too old. He's older than 24 years old, I believe, at this point. R.J. Barrett might fit the bill. Let's check the silhouette out. Ooh, that is not R.J. Barrett's hair. That is not R.J. Barrett. Who does that look like? That could be a number of different people. He's wearing that like Habib Nurmagomedov like big fro type of thing, you know? That could be a number of players. Could that be like Sadiq Bey? Jordan Nwora? Could that be Marvin Bagley III? Man, that could be a lot of different people, right? I gotta rule out. It could be Cade Cunningham. Well, no, it can't be Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham a little too short, right? Cade isn't 6'10". Not 6'10". This is gonna be a taller player. It could be Jared Allen. I ain't mad at Jared Allen. I don't mind that guess. Let's go with Jared Allen. It is not Jared Allen. All right, Eastern Conference, Central Division, not a center though. Exactly 6'10". Around 24 years old, slightly younger than 24 years old. Jersey number is going to be above 31. So we're looking for a big jersey number here. So that silhouette kind of did look like a little bit of like a Jared Allen, but it is not Jared Allen. Oubre? It's not going to be Christian Wood. For you Christian Wood guessers out there, not Christian Wood. This player does not play in the Western Conference. Christian Wood, a member of the Dallas Mavericks. So we know it's not Christian Wood. Kevin Porter Jr. Can't be Kevin Porter Jr. He's out west. Kelly Oubre? That's an interesting guess. I think Oubre might be a little bit too old, though. We'll go with it. Yeah, Oubre, not in the right division. Not tall enough. He's not 6'10". I think I'm going to go back to one of the guesses that I thought maybe it could have been, and that was Marvin Bagley III. Boom. Marvin Bagley III is the correct guess. He just returned to the Detroit Pistons rotation a couple games ago. I think he's got 2 games under his belt during this regular season here. But yes, Marvin Bagley III, former top draft pick by the Sacramento Kings. Y'all remember? I think they picked this guy above Luka Doncic. The Sacramento Kings picked him above Luka Doncic. Who went first in that draft? Was that the DeAndre Ayton first overall draft? Didn't Ayton go like first? Bagley was like second or something like that to Sacramento. Yeah, they all kind of whiffed, didn't they, on Luka Doncic? But yeah, it is Marvin Bagley III, Detroit Pistons, Eastern Conference, Central Division, plays forward, 6'10". He's still just 23 years old, so I'm not ready to write Marvin Bagley III off yet. All right, and he rocks jersey number 35. So that who it is. It is Marvin Bagley III. But yeah, for those of you who are just getting here, maybe you haven't seen the announcement yet by PrizePicks. 6-pick flex, guys. 6-pick flex. Up to 25 times your money over on PrizePicks. So they have expanded their payouts. You guys have been saying, we want bigger payouts. We want the ability to win more money. Well, now you have it. But it ain't going to come easy, all right? 6 for 6 is not going to come easy, all right? I would not be throwing big money down on this. The odds of this hitting are astronomically high, all right? If you're going to play around with this, man, make your entries, something you can afford. Maybe $5, $10. I mean, I don't know. Everybody's bankroll is a little bit different, but I'm just telling you right now, 6 out of 6 is tough. You guys already know. You've been playing the 5 picks for long enough. Now, 5 out of 5 is tough as it is. 6 out of 6, it's just really upping the ante even further. As we mentioned before, 5 out of 6 is a double up. You get 5 out of 6 right, you just double your money. Ugh, that's harsh. That's a harsh step down. You go from 25x down to 2x. Big drop off, right? I mean, at least give us a 3x if we get 5 out of 6, right? 5 out of 6 is tough. And then 4 out of 6, you get 0.4x. You get a little piece of your original entry fee back. So 6-pick flex, man, it's going to be interesting, like I said, just to see if people get into this or not. Let's run through tonight's NBA slate. We got 10 games to talk about. We've got this new 6-pick flex that is rolled out here on PrizePicks. You can only play it at this moment online, so you got to be on PrizePicks.com, on their website, the desktop version of their app. Coming soon, though, to iOS, to Android. So you guys who are mobile players only, hold your horses. It's coming, all right? You'll be able to lock in a 6-pick flex before too long. But let's get into today's action. Appreciate everybody who subscribed. Appreciate all the new subscribers. We're on our way to 7,000 subs. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and get that done for me, all right? And hit that like button while you're here as well. I'm giving away free entries every day. It's a 2-pick risk-free entry. You get both picks right, guys. You win yourself $100 over on PrizePicks. All you have to do is be a subscriber, like today's live stream, and then once the replay goes up on YouTube, you go to the comment section, leave a comment with your favorite pick of the day. Boom. You're automatically entered to win that risk-free 2-pick. All right. So tipping off at 7 o'clock, we've got the Minnesota Timberwolves, one of the most frustrating teams. That is what I think. I think Minnesota's a very difficult team to figure out from game to game. I still haven't figured them out. 14 games into the regular season, I still don't know who's going to be doing what on the Minnesota Timberwolves, all right? And then one of the other most frustrating teams is my Orlando Magic. So it's Minnesota at Orlando tonight, tipping off at 7 o'clock. Nice total here, 225 points, 6-point spread. But keep an eye on the Orlando side. We've got Wendell Carter Jr. as a game-time decision. They're missing a lot of players. Cole Anthony, Paolo Banchero, of course, Fultz, Gary Harris, Jonathan Isaac, Mo Wagner. All those guys continue to sit for Orlando. All right? But two of the most frustrating teams, I'm probably going to fade that game. Unless something really just opens up. Unless I get a good read. But I hate Minnesota and I hate Orlando in terms of prize picks. All right? I don't like playing either one of those teams. Moving on to the next game, OKC versus Washington. Both teams fairly healthy here. Not a lot of injury news. We got 229 points. Very nice total. 4.5-point spread. Obviously, SGA versus a Washington Wizards squad that's not all that great defensively, especially in the backcourt. He's going to probably be a popular play today. Indiana at Charlotte tips off at 7 as well. We've got Tyrese Halliburton as a game-time decision. Keep an eye on Hallie. We need to see if he's in or out tonight going up against the Hornets. LaMelo Ball's been back in the mix for Charlotte. Started the last couple of games. Played pretty well in his last game, which was against Orlando. Huge total from this game, 233 points with a 2.5-point spread. So if you want to take some overplays, this might be the game to target. No Gordon Hayward for Charlotte. He continues to sit out, so that's their biggest injury news. 7:30 tip-off. We got Boston versus Atlanta. Another huge total here, 235.5 points between these two teams. It's just a 3-point spread, so high scoring. Looks like it's going to be a close and competitive game. Marcus Smart, however, game-time decision. Malcolm Brogdon, game-time decision. So the backcourt for the Boston Celtics still very much up in the air. If both of those guys can't go, going to see more Derek White off the bench, possibly entering the starting lineup. Some Peyton Pritchard will be in the fold as well. Over on the Atlanta side, Bogdanovic still out. He's been out all season. We haven't seen Bogdanovich yet for Atlanta. So moving on to the next game, 7:30 p.m. Miami at Toronto, 215.5. One of the lowest total games on tonight's 10-game NBA slate, so don't expect a whole lot of overs in this game to hit. We saw a bunch of Toronto Raptors sit out in the last game. In fact, the only guys that were healthy, that were active, was OG Anunoby and Scotty Barnes. So in the last game, we didn't have Siakam. We didn't have Van Vliet. We didn't have Gary Trent Jr. We know Siakam is for sure out. Otto Porter Jr. and Precious Achiuwa also going to be out for sure. Van Vliet, Gary Trent Jr., those are our game time decisions. Obviously, that would be a bump up to Anunoby and Scotty Barnes if both of those guys sit out again, Trent and Van Vliet. Over on the Miami side, Bam Adebayo, a game time decision. Tyler Herro already ruled out, so they could be potentially without two of their top players in Bam and Tyler Herro. Herro's definitely out. Bam is more the question mark. We're not sure if he's going to play or not, but low total game, but it does look like it's going to be one that's going to stay close. Chicago versus New Orleans, tipping off at 8 o'clock. Zion Williamson did not play against Ja Morant. Unfortunately for basketball fans, we did not get to see Ja versus Zion. And so the drought continues, all right? We haven't seen these guys play one another in like over a year. It's been a really long time. 226.5 points between these two teams. It's a 3-point spread. The Pelicans are on a back-to-back, so maybe fatigue plays a little bit of a factor, right? Cleveland at Milwaukee, tipping off at 8 o'clock. Another, team that has had their injury issues here. Milwaukee Bucks. Chris Middleton's still out. Wes Matthews is out. Joe Ingles is out. Grayson Allen, he's kind of been in flux, in and out of the lineup. Drew Holiday, he's been out. His status is still up in the air. Pat Connaughton, we're still waiting to see Pat Connaughton make his season debut. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, they've got their own list of injuries here. Donovan Mitchell has a game-time decision. If he's out, Darius Garland could go off again. I mean, he went for, 51 points the other night? 51. So Darius Garland says, hey, don't forget about me. I know Donovan Mitchell's the shiny new toy in town in Cleveland, but don't forget about me. I could still get buckets. It's just 218.5 points, a very low total. 4-point spread, though, is favoring this Milwaukee Bucks team. Houston at Dallas, a battle for Texas, 8:30 p.m. tip-off. As far as injury news goes, nothing real crazy happening on either side. A lot of the bigs for the Dallas Mavericks are kind of like game-time decisions. Their status is up in the air. You got Bertans, you got Kleber, you got McGee. They're all game-time decisions, so it could just be Dwight Powell. Maybe they run a small ball lineup with Christian Wood at center at times. All right, but a lot of their big guys for Dallas are kind of hurt. This is, again, another low-scoring game, just 219.5, 9-point spread favoring the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas is on a back-to-back as well. Obviously, they played last night against the Clippers. Shout out to Paul George. Paul George not only hit his taco, but he also stayed under the 24.5 original point line. So if you took the under on Paul George at 24.5 like I did, that hit. Same was true for Kevin Durant. The taco hit, but his original point line did not hit. Brooklyn got blown out. I don't know if you guys saw that. Sacramento beat the brakes off of the Brooklyn Nets last night. It was pretty embarrassing. Anyway, moving on to some of these later games. We've got the New York Knicks traveling out west to the Denver Nuggets. Aaron Gordon, game time decision. Nikola Jokic, Joker, is out tonight for Denver, guys. They've got some sort of illness going on. I don't know if it's COVID. I don't know if it's just some kind of non-COVID related sickness that's spreading throughout the team, but a lot of their guys are either in health protocols or they've been ruled out due to illness. So I would not be surprised if you didn't see Ish Smith, Bones Highland, Aaron Gordon playing tonight. Jokic is already out. He's in health and safety protocols. So it'll be veteran DeAndre Jordan manning the middle for the Denver Nuggets. Mitchell Robinson is a game-time decision. He's missed the last few games for the New York Knicks, so stay on top of the news there. But 226.5 is the total on this game. 3.5-point spreads favoring the Denver Nuggets. And last but not least, the Golden State Warriors and the Phoenix Suns. We've seen these two teams meet up in the playoffs a lot in recent years. Is Chris Paul going to be active tonight? That's the big one that we're kind of staying tuned for. CP3 versus Golden State. It's always a good time. Curry and Paul, two of the better point guards in the league. It's always fun watching those guys play. Klay Thompson did not play in the last game. All right, so it was the Poole party. Jordan Poole entered the starting lineup alongside Steph Curry. So keep an eye on Chris Paul. This one's got a nice total, 226.5 with a 1-point spread. All right. So that's what's going down across the association today as far as injury news and info goes. You guys are saying that Chris Paul is already ruled out. All right, good to know, good to know. That blowout cost me. Sabonis fourth would have banked. Yeah, Sabonis, his night got cut short, unfortunately, by that huge blowout. No Cloud saying that they only let you do the 6-pick on the website. Some of you are saying that you are able to do it from the mobile app. If you can't do it from the mobile app yet, then just stay patient. It's coming soon. It's coming soon, but it should be on the way. All right. Todd, Live for Sunday says, let's get those likes up. Appreciate you, Todd. Magic Carp Johnson says, my favorite play on the board is Capella points and rebounds. Well, let's go and get into some of these trends provided by Props.cash. Gang, if you're not using Props.cash to do your player prop research, you're probably wasting time. You're probably doing it wrong, right? Props.cash, just $19.99 a month for access to all their sports, or you can go all in on the NBA season. $99.99 get you access to the full shebang on Props.cash. If you use promo code Curry, you save 25% on your first month of Props.cash. So let's get signed in here, and we will start looking at some of these trends provided by Props.cash. All right, gang. So this is the NBA player prop trends page. Very helpful here on Props.cash. You can go game by game. You can see who's hitting, who's not. You can see who's in the best matchups, etc. Right? So if we kind of take a look at some of the trends here from the points category, we'll go game by game. You got Indiana at Charlotte. A lot of these Charlotte Hornets are in good spots tonight. We got Terry Rozier at 21.5 points, 63% hit rate. But we have to factor in that LaMelo Ball's now back in the mix, right? So Rozier might have a high hit rate. He might be in a good matchup, but we haven't seen a whole lot of Rozier with LaMelo Ball. He went under his point prop in that last game. You could go from points to assists. Some of these hit rates for the assists, 67% for Mason Plumlee, 63% for Rozier. Kind of a middle-of-the-road average matchup going against Indiana. You see the yellow here. Yellow means average, right? Average type of matchup. You got rebounds here. Terry Rozier, 63% of the time that he's played, he's gone over 4.5 rebounds. Somewhat decent matchup against Indiana in terms of rebounds. And then you could go PRA. I mean, you could do it all right? What about some of these other games? Minnesota versus Orlando. I told you guys I'm probably not touching this game. I'm going to stay away. You look at some of the hit rates here for these guys on the Minnesota side. I mean, 50%, 57%. That just tells me that there's just no consistency, right? When you see hit rates floating around 50%, there's just not a lot of consistency. Now, they got some good rebounders, like Rudy Gobert, for instance, but even him, at 12.5 rebounds, that seems like we're getting a great deal on Rudy Gobert, but he's only hit this number in 50% of his games. And he's going up against Orlando tonight, who ranks number 2 in total rebounds allowed. So it's not the greatest matchup on paper here for Rudy Gobert. But yeah, this Minnesota Timberwolves team is tough to figure out. Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns, Jade McDaniels, all with a 64 or higher % hit rate when it comes to assists. So go figure, right? Some of these big guys are dropping dimes at a high clip. But yeah, I'm probably going to stay away from that game. You got Oklahoma City versus Washington. We talked about SGA. He's got a nice little 70% hit rate. He's going up against Washington tonight at 28.5 points. So I'm sure he's going to be a very popular play. Now, outside of SGA, as far as other guys from this game, just a lot of misses here. 50% or below hit rates on points. So the only point prop I'd really probably consider from this game is SGA going up against Washington. I know it says Washington is ranked 8th in points allowed. That means like total points allowed. That's not necessarily how they defend a point guard or how many points they allow to a point guard like SGA. As far as assists go, I mean, 71% hit rate for Lou Dort at 1.5 dimes. That's not too shabby. Anytime we see a hit rate of 70 or better, I mean, that's pretty good looks, right? So he's going up against Washington at 1.5 assists, 71% hit rate. So that could be a look for you. What about rebounds? You got Kristaps Porzingis, you got Kyle Kuzma. Are these guys hitting their rebounds at a high clip? They're in a good matchup against Oklahoma City, but not really covering their rebounds like that. You know what I mean? Kyle Kuzma at 8.5 boards, 36% hit rate. Kristaps Porzingis at 9.5 boards, 38% hit rate. They're going to be going up against the likes of like Pokashevsky at center, right? So, I mean, there's an opportunity there maybe for these guys to rebound. Oklahoma City gives up the most rebounds to opposing teams. So the matchup looks good on paper. These guys have just not really gotten it done when it comes to rebounds. You got Lou Dort, 57% hit rate. What about PRA? Anybody covering their PRA? SGA, of course. I mean, he's going to be up there because he's been hitting his points prop. A lot of what he does in terms of PRA is reliant on him scoring, so that could be a good look. Lou Dort sitting at a 64% hit rate when it comes to PRA. All right, so let's go to the next game, Boston at Atlanta. Got a lot of yellow here on both sides of this, meaning these teams are, when it comes to points allowed, are kind of middle of the pack, average teams when it comes to allowing points to opposing teams. So Al Horford, 64% hit rate at 10.5 points. You got Jason Tatum, 57% hit rate. Clint Capella, 57% hit rate. So not a lot of high hit rates from this game. You're not seeing a lot of green in terms of the matchup either. I don't know if I'm so excited about taking just purely points on anybody from this one. So what about another category? How about the assist department? Well, you got Trae Young at just 7.5 dimes. We know what Trae Young's capable of. He's got that 9, 10, 11, 12 assists upside. Same thing with DeJounte Murray. His assists at 6.5 today. But you got a 69% hit rate for Trae at 7.5, 64% hit rate for DeJounte Murray at 6.5. But Boston, as you can see, one of the stingier teams when it comes to assists allowed to opposing teams, right? They're not allowing a ton of dimes per game. So let's go to the rebound department on that game. A lot of green here. Both of these teams giving up a ton of boards. We know Boston has been a team that we've attacked in the past, taking some rebound props against them, right? So maybe Clint Capella is somebody we should be considering. Capella, the big fella, he's been rebounding the basketball very well. Gets a good matchup today against the Boston Celtics. And then on the flip side, you got Al Horford. Maybe he's a solid option, but he's only covered his rebounds in 27% of his games. So Capella, 36% hit rate at 11.5. We've seen his number climb steadily, right? But that's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty good. Both sides of this game. I mean, both teams are giving up a ton of rebounds. So what about the PRA? Who's hitting their PRA? You got Jaylen Brown, you got Trae Young, both at 62% hit rates on their PRA lines. So those are maybe some PRA options for you to consider. All right. What about the next game? Miami at Toronto. No props for that one. Still waiting on some injury news. Bam Adebayo. Cleveland versus Milwaukee. Donovan Mitchell, game time decision at the moment, but he's hit 26.5 points at an 82% hit rate. That's huge. His number at 26.5 is rather low. And if Drew Holiday is out tonight and he gets to match up against the likes of like Javon Carter, Grayson Allen, I like Donovan Mitchell at 26.5 points, pending he's healthy and he's good to go. All right, we got to wait for that news on Donovan Mitchell. What about the other props here? Assists, Brook Lopez at just 0.5 assists. You guys think he gets 1 assist tonight? 69% hit rate going up against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's look at the rebounders. Brook Lopez, not known to be a strong rebounder, but if Giannis happened to sit out for whatever reason, I think he's a game time decision. Maybe go Brolo for rebounds. Just a 54% hit rate this season, though. PRA, just Donovan Mitchell and Lopez for us to look at. Donovan Mitchell, kind of like SGA. He's been crushing his points prop, which means he's also been crushing his PRA. 73% hit rate on the points, rebounds, and assists for the Spider, Donovan Mitchell. What about the next game? Chicago versus New Orleans. Looking at some of these trends here, we got Ayo Dosunmu at a 62% hit rate at 9.5 points, going up against New Orleans, who's on a back-to-back tonight. As far as these other guys, they're just not hitting at a very high clip, 50%, 43%, right? What about the assist department? As you can tell, guys, we're not getting any New Orleans props. We're waiting for Zion Williamson news. Patrick Williams at 0.5 assists. If you could take him somewhere, 64% hit rate, looking pretty good. What about rebounds? Ayo Dosunmu again at 92%. So maybe if there's like a points and rebounds prop where they combine the two for Dosunmu, maybe you take that. At 2.5 rebounds, he's hit this in 92% of his games. That's about as good as you can ask for, right? Almost perfect. Almost perfect. What about PRA? PRA, we got Dosunmu again. 62% hit rate at 15.5 PRA. So that could be a possible option as well. So we're still waiting on New Orleans news. Houston and Dallas. Eric Gordon at 10.5 points. 75% hit rate this season going up against Dallas. It is going to be a lower scoring game, though. I caution you there, meaning there won't be as many possessions, less buckets made, less shots going in. You know what I'm saying? You got Alperen Şengün at 14.5 points, 67%. He could be facing who? Who's coming off the bench? I mean, maybe Christian Wood. I mean, if all the guys, JaVale McGee, Maxi Kleber, Davis Bertans, if all those guys are out, then that leaves them pretty thin. That's going to be Dwight Powell and Christian Wood pretty much holding things down at the center spot. Christian Wood, revenge game, by the way. Former Houston Rocket taking on the Houston Rockets tonight. Now a member of the Dallas Mavericks, so that could be an option. You got Kevin Porter Jr., KPJ, 64% of the games that he's played in has went over 17.5 points. Luka Doncic, also a killer, right? We know about Luka. We ain't got to talk about Luka. How about the assists? Jabari Smith at 0.5 assists, 69% hit rate. Everybody else kind of like 58% or below. Rebounds, you got Kevin Porter Jr. at 4.5 boards and 86% hit rate. His teammate, his buddy, Alperen Şengün, 75% hit rate at just 7.5 rebounds. Again, if Dallas is going to be without some of their key front court players, Şengün should eat, especially against Christian Wood. I'm not really worried about Christian Wood defensively or on the glass. You got Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, both covering their rebound props at a high clip, 64%, 62%. So a lot of good rebound hitters on the Houston Rockets side. What about the PRA? Taking a look at that, Eric Gordon, who we talked about, is a high hit rate guy when it comes to his points. He's also hit the PRA at a high clip at 83%. Right behind him is Alperen Şengün at 67%. All right. So we're just running through some of these trends here, trying to get a feel for what looks good, what doesn't. Not seeing a lot of great matchups on paper so far. Not a lot of great matchups. You guys talked about Julius Randle. Yeah, Julius Randle last night kind of, I don't know what happened to Julius Randle. He was on a great little trajectory. Looked like he was going to cover some of his props, his PRA. I had exposure to that. I had exposure to his 8.5 rebounds. Something happened with Julius Randle. I don't know. He falls in love with the three-point line sometimes. Sometimes he goes and pitches a tent out there at the three-point line and never comes back to the paint. And I think that's kind of what happened last night. He just fell in love with staying out on the perimeter against the Utah Jazz. Anyway, Jalen Brunson played well last night. His assists are at 6.5 going up against Denver. 64% hit rate on the 6.5 assists. So he's been doing a pretty good job. What about rebounds? RJ Barrett, 71% hit rate at just 4.5 rebounds. We talked about Denver being without Jokic, maybe without Aaron Gordon. They've had some kind of like COVID type illness spread throughout the team. Got to wait and see who's going to be active for Denver, but that could be an advantageous spot here for RJ Barrett, pending Mitchell Robinson still out for their team. PRA, you've got Barrett, Brunson, Randle, the only three on the board. They all have less than a 50% hit rate. Not really interested in any of those. And then finally, Golden State versus Phoenix. Steph Curry at 28.5 points, 69% hit rate. He's leading the way in the points department going up against Phoenix. You can see Phoenix, though, the number one ranked team in terms of limiting opponent points. All right. Fewest points allowed by any team, Phoenix Suns. Now, if Chris Paul's out and Steph Curry gets matched up with like Cameron Payne, it's going to be hard to say no to some Steph Curry props tonight. Behind him, Andrew Wiggins with a healthy 62% hit rate at 17.5. Klay Thompson sat out the last game. I think he's going to be back in this game, but I'm not really interested in him at 36%. He'll probably be locked up by the likes of Mikal Bridges. Let's look at the assists category. You got Andrew Wiggins at 1.5 with a 69% hit rate. Looney at 2.5, 64%. Klay at 2.5 at 64%. They're kind of leading the way in terms of hit rates. We look at the rebound department as well. Curry at 5.5 boards, nice little 62% on him. Mikal Bridges, we mentioned him, 62% hit rate. He's in a plus matchup against Golden State. The Warriors are 22nd in rebounds allowed to opposing teams, meaning they're giving up a lot of boards. A lot of boards. In terms of PRA, Steph, again, top of the charts here, 77% hit rate on his PRA line. You got Wiggins, you got Booker. They're hitting their PRA at a 62% hit rate. So there's a lot of different ways you could go here. Some of you folks are saying, what about Curry for threes? Well, he's at 4.5, just a 46% hit rate. And you see where Phoenix ranks just 6th in total threes allowed to opponents. So those are some of your trends, guys. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to start researching some of these picks for you guys. The breaking news of the day, though, is PrizePicks now offering a 6 pick flex, which can get you up to 25 times your dollars. So you can go and lock in up to 6 players here. Go over to the payouts after you've selected more or less. And you kind of see what you get here. $25 would get you $625. Today is happy hour. Should be happy hour. You could risk $1 during happy hour and grab yourself $25. All right, that's not a bad return if you can get 6 out of 6. That's the tough part. Their normal minimum entry amount is $5. So you can risk as little as $5 and win as much as $125. All right, so those are your payouts. Those are your payouts. Some ideas, some examples. $10 would get you 250 bones over on PrizePicks. All right, so let's start looking at some of your picks here. You guys are dropping some questions. I'd be happy to help as much as I can here. You guys are saying Randall is frustrating. You're saying Randall is a killjoy. I hear you, man. There's games where Randall just looks engaged and he looks like he's, ready to come out there and be a world beater. And then there's games where Randall really starts to fade. Roy is saying that Bam Adebayo is officially out on Wednesday. D'Angelo, you're saying, what about Karl Anthony Towns over for his rebounds? Let's look at Karl Anthony Towns. I told you guys, I don't really mess with the Minnesota Timberwolves like that, but maybe Karl Anthony Towns is a guy we could trust when it comes to rebounds. He's at 8.5. He's going against Orlando tonight. We talked about the Orlando Magic. They usually give away some rebounds to opposing bigs. Just taking a quick look here at the DVP. This is defense versus position, right? And what this will help illustrate is how many rebounds per game that the Orlando Magic are giving up to opposing centers. Now, Gobert technically probably is the center on this team at this point, but I want to look at both centers and power forwards, and we're going to look at the rebound chances for the Minnesota Timberwolves and see where Karl Anthony Towns ranks amongst his teammates in rebound chances. So you see the Orlando Magic, they give up about 14 rebounds per game to centers. That's not a whole lot. They rank down toward the bottom. Now, Wendell Carter Jr., if he does not play, he is probably the top rebounder for Orlando. So if he's out, we already know Paolo Banchero is out. That eliminates 2 quality bigs from the Orlando lineup. So you're going to be looking at maybe Mo Bamba stepping in at center if Wendell Carter Jr. is out. You got Bol. He's 7'2". He's got some size on him, right? He's a pretty good rebounder in his own right. Hard not to be when you're that damn long and lanky. All right. You still got 6'10" Franz Wagner in that starting lineup. Not a super high rebound guy, but Orlando still got some size. So that could be what we see. Mo Bamba, Bol, Wagner, Chuma Okeke has been starting for Orlando in the last couple of games. So anyway, they're giving up about 14 boards per game to centers. You can call Karl Anthony Towns a power forward if you want. I ain't mad at that. He's kind of slid over to the power forward position. They're giving up about 9.1 rebounds per game to power forward. So you can kind of see whether you're a center or a power forward, Orlando ranks down toward the bottom of the list in rebounds per game allowed to both positions. All right, opposing front courts have not had the easiest of time rebounding the basketball. Karl Anthony Towns would need 9 rebounds if you're planning on taking the over tonight. So let's go look at the game logs for Karl Anthony Towns. We've got the last 5 that are provided for us by PrizePicks, but we want to see a bigger sample, right? We want to see a larger sample and see what we've got here. So we're going to look at the season view here on Prop.Cash. You can see Karl Anthony Towns started off the season kind of slow. Did not hit the over in his first, 6 games? In just one game. He was 1 for his first 6 games. But ever since then, his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games, he's gone 7 out of his last 8, clearing 8.5 rebounds. So he's done a lot better here in recent games. 7 for 8 is pretty good. You can see his average for the season at 9.3 has jumped up to 9.7 in the last 10 and has jumped up significantly higher in the last 5 to 10.6 rebounds. So that's looking pretty good. We talked about Orlando, stingy team. They're not giving up a lot of boards. The total on this game is pretty good, though, at 222.5. One thing that you can do here is check on Karl Anthony Towns. rebounds with Rudy Gobert, because I want to say Gobert's missed like maybe a game or two. And then you hit the word logs behind that. All right, so he's gone over 8.5 rebounds with Rudy Gobert in the lineup 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times out of 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So he's only 50% with Gobert in the lineup. That's not so sexy. That is not so encouraging. 50%. So it's a coin toss, a coin flip. And he's going up against a team that's not really giving up rebounds like that. So what about rebound chances per game? Well, you can go and track this information using NBA.com, their NBA Advanced Stats page. Totally free for you guys to access this. Go to Google, type in NBA rebound chances. This page should pop up. So we're going to look at the Minnesota Timberwolves. We're going to click Get Stats, and we're going to go to the rebound chances. And you can see that the guy who's leading the team in rebound chances is Rudy Gobert. 12 games played, 23.2 rebound chances per game. He's turned those into roughly 13 actual rebounds. Now, right behind him is Karl Anthony Towns with 14 rebound chances per game at a 9.3 rebound per game average. So that kind of breaks it down for you. 50% hit rate with Gobert in the lineup for Karl Anthony Towns doesn't look great. It doesn't look great. Let's get you a projection, though. He's projected for 8.7 boards. You kind of see him at 8.5 on every sports book. Not really a value here. Not really getting any kind of edge. Like, in other words, if he was at like 7.5 on the books, we were getting him at 8.5. Or if he was at 9.5 on the books and we're getting him at 8.5 on PrizePicks, then you find some value. You might find some value. But in this case, not really seeing any value here. So tough matchup against Orlando. Matchup would get easier without Wendell Carter Jr. and Paolo Banchero, but we're not sure if Wendell is going to sit out or not. So for right now, I'm going to wait and see on Karl Anthony Towns' rebounds. I'm going to hold off before putting him into any kind of entry. All right. So there you go, Mr. Sinning. Famo is saying, I'm liking some John Collins for points and rebounds. I'm guessing you want to go over on that or take him for more than his points and rebounds line. Let's go find John Collins. We talked about the Atlanta Hawks tonight. They're going up against the Boston Celtics. John Collins is sitting at 18.5 points plus rebounds going up against the C's. So one thing we have to check into is the rebound chances on the Atlanta Hawks, right? Who's leading the team in rebound chances per game? So we'll clear the Minnesota Timberwolves from our filters. We'll switch this and go to Atlanta. Click Get Stats. Rebound chances are being led by none other than Clint Capella. No surprise there. But right behind him is John Collins, 13.6 rebound chances, averaging a healthy little 8 rebounds per game. So let's say he pulls in 8 boards tonight. That's his average. Then he would need to score 11 points. He would need to score 11 points if he pulls in 8 boards tonight. So let's look at the matchup here. Going up against Boston, we talked about their front court. They've usually given up a lot of rebounds to centers, but are they giving it up to power forwards like that? Well, they're giving up about 9.7, so we'll call it closer to 10 rebounds per game to center or power forwards, and then about 19.5 points. So he's going to be right around, 29, we'll call it 29 to 30 points plus rebounds given up by Boston. So I could see him maybe being better as a points play. He's going to get the bulk of his points and rebounds from the points, I would say. I don't know if I like just the rebounds on their own, but if you wanted to take just his points on their own, I don't mind that. But that could be a potential look. Let's go see how often he's hit this number. So we'll switch it up. We'll go to Boston versus Atlanta. John Collins sitting at 11.5 points. On just the points, he's 8 for 14, 57% hit rate. It's all right. Just the rebounds at 6.5, he's hit this in 8 out of 14, 57% hit rate. So when you combine the two, points plus rebounds, he's 8 for 14 there, 57% hit rate. We look at the last 5 games. He's 2 for 5. So he hasn't been doing a great job at covering this particular prop at 18.5. All right. See where the Boston Celtics rank? 18th in total points, 23rd in total rebounds. but they're 4th in power forward defense. So that's a little bit scary, right? Pretty good at defending opposing power forwards. What about when he plays Boston? Well, he played Boston twice last year, had 31 and 30 points plus rebounds in 2 games against Boston. Obviously, DeJounte Murray was not on the Atlanta Hawks at this time. So some of that usage that DeJounte Murray is currently consuming, we didn't have to worry about that last year, right? John Collins was getting that usage last year. So I wouldn't get too hyped up seeing 31 and 30 against Boston, because it's a different situation here on the Atlanta Hawks this season. Let's get you a projection on this one. Points plus rebounds for John Collins. 18.9 projected points plus rebounds. Now you are getting a little bit of value here. What do I mean by that? Well, he's at 19.5 on FanDuel, 19.5 on PointsBet. We're getting him at 18.5 currently on PrizePicks. Not a great hit rate, but we are getting value here. Some of these lines makers for FanDuel and PointsBet think that he's going to get 19 to 20 points and rebounds combined. All right. And at 18.5 on DraftKings and BetMGM, you're seeing he is a betting favorite to go over. Minus 125 odds, not super strong odds at 18.5. But you got a projection that's favorable. You got him as high as 19.5, meaning a point of value versus PrizePicks. Just not a great hit rate for him. But not the worst pick you can make in the world. So that could be an option for Famo. Let's see. Game is life. He mentioned, how about some Steph Curry threes? More than 4.5 threes. Obviously, Steph Curry not up on the PrizePicks board, but if they were to add him, I think he makes for an interesting look, because more often than not this season, I believe Steph Curry's been hitting that 3-point prop. So let's take a look at it together real quick. You're asking about it. We'll look into it. He's 6 for 13, actually, 46%. Ooh, last couple of games have really hurt his hit rates, his averages. That's not looking good, right, gang? I'm a little bit more sour on this than originally. Last season, played Phoenix a total of 4 times. Well, this season and last season combined. 2 for 4 against Phoenix. 3, 6, 5, and 4 in those games. 3 of those games were on the road. He was 1 for 3 on the road. And then 1 of those games were at home. He was 1 for 1 at home. He's playing on the road again tonight. He's going to be in Phoenix. So take that for what you will. We can go back to last season and kind of look at the splits for Curry. At home, he averaged 4.5 3-point makes per game, dating back to last season. On the road, just 4.4. Slight downtick, right? More red here than when we looked at the home hit rates. So he does tend to hit at a higher clip when he's playing at home. So there you go. As far as the projection goes on Steph Curry, got him going for about 4.8. That's a projection provided by Fantasy Labs. And then at 4.5 on all major sports books, minus 160, minus 165. I mean, that's some pretty heavy juice coming in on the under. So even if we did get Curry on PrizePicks at 4.5, I might have to stay away from it. Now, if we get him at 4, if they post him up at 4, I'm probably buying at 4. I'm probably in at 4, but looks like we're not going to be getting that today. Got a couple of super chats coming through. Appreciate you, gang. If you guys have any hard-hitting, pressing issues, concerns, questions, super chat helps A, support the show, and B, guarantees that your question gets answered here. ZXR Skills says, hey, CJ, just wanted to say thanks for putting on such a great stream. Appreciate the information. As always, smash the like button, peeps. Hey, tip of the hat to you, man. Appreciate the super chat. Again, that helps keep this free content free. So all the little super chats and things that you guys do, those of you who have joined Patreon and wanted to be a part of the community, that $20 a month, man, that goes a long way to help support what I do here. It allows me to, carve out time to make these videos, go live with you guys, talk about all this stuff, try to help as many of you as possible. So I appreciate it, man. Without you, there is no me. So I'm forever thankful for that. JS Vocal says, Josh Giddey points and rebounds. Appreciate the super chat, JS Vocals. We're liking Giddey for points and rebounds. So you're wanting to combine the two, or are you wanting to mix it up and take one or the other? Are you asking, should I take points, should I take rebounds, or are you wanting to kind of combine the two? Let me know. But let's go find Josh Giddey today and kind of see where some of his lines are sitting at. Giddey kind of last few games kind of wasn't performing up to his level, right? But the last couple of games, we've seen his minutes increase. We've seen things start to pick up here for Josh Giddey. But his points are sitting at 15.5. His rebounds are sitting at 7.5. So you're asking, should we take one or the other or combine the two? All right, you're saying combine the two. So his points plus rebounds combined are 22.5. Where are you getting the 15 and 6 from, my friend? Where's the 15 and 6 coming from? I got him at 22.5. I wish he was at 15 and 6. Are you playing like an alternate points plus rebounds line on a sports book? Is that what's happening? Is that what's happening? That could be what's happening. All right, anyway, let's look at Josh Giddey here and kind of just see what he's been up to this season in the points plus rebound department. OKC taking on Washington. We've already talked about Washington not really being a team that plays a lot of defense, right? They've been kind of a team that's struggled for the most part, in the early stages of the season against opposing backcourts. But taking a look at his line here at 22.5 points plus rebounds, he's gone over this in 6 out of 11. We talked about there was a little stretch where he struggled, but in his last 4 games, he's really been good. I mean, he's played a lot better in the last 4. He's 4 out of his last 4, riding a 4-game streak. All right. So came out swinging with 25 and 31, went through this rough patch, and now he's kind of bounced back. Now, what's the cause for this? Well, his minutes are definitely up, right? See some of these games where he went through that rough patch, 21, 25, 32, 26, and about 25 minutes. When he plays 30-plus minutes, he usually hits 34, 33, 44, 37, 34 roughly, right? So when he's getting over 30 minutes per game, he's hitting this more often than not. He's only missed 1 time when playing 30-plus minutes, and that was against Denver. All right, so if he's going to get 30-plus minutes tonight, he should be in good shape. And I think he will get that many minutes tonight. Game has a total of 229 points. It's just a 4.5-point spread. One of the higher totals of tonight's slate. Giddey's been doing really well the last few games. This looks like a spot where he can continue to do well. Now, you're saying you're getting him at 15 and 6, right? So like 21. He would need at least 21 for you. Well, he's hit that at a 64% clip. He's actually hit that in 5 out of his last 6 games. So I like his chances at 15 points and 6 rebounds for you. I think it looks good. Taking a closer look at this DVP information here, we're going to look at the point guard and shooting guard spot because him and SGA, it's really hard to kind of decipher who's the point guard, who's the shooting guard. They're both combo guards, really. They both do a little bit of everything. Now he's going up against Washington. So let's sort by points from greatest to least. We'll go find the Wizards here. Washington giving up about 23 to 24 points per game to point guards. That looks good. They don't give up so many rebounds, just 5 rebounds allowed. But I would say that Giddey's probably an above average rebounder most nights. So I could see him exceeding 5 rebounds. But 23 to 24 points and about 5 rebounds, that makes for about 29 points and rebounds to point guards. Now, what about shooting guards? How are the Wizards doing against shooting guards? They're giving up about 22 points per game, more rebounds given up to shooting guards at about 7 per game. So again, you combine the two numbers, you're looking at about 29. So all in all, they're giving up about 58 points plus rebounds to opposing backcourts, point guards and shooting guards. So I think Giddey's in a pretty good spot, but let's take the research a step further, right? Why stop there? We could go look at the rebound chances for the Oklahoma City Thunder and kind of see where Josh Giddey falls. Now, I want to look at the last 5 games because that's when he's really started to heat up. The minutes have been up for him, so you can do that. You can change the season segment from all season to just the last 5 games and kind of isolate those last 5 and see where he falls there. So let's do that. Click Get Stats, and you can see the rebound chances. Josh Giddey is second on the team in rebound chances at 14.6. He's right behind their center, Poeltl. So you got Poku at 15. You got Josh Giddey right behind him at 14.6. So when it comes to rebound chances, those two guys are dominating the rebound chances in the last 5 games. Giddey's averaging 9.4 boards in the last 5 games. So I think Giddey's in a fine spot here. I don't mind this play. Even at 22.5, I think it looks pretty decent. Let's get you a projection. Let's see what the action projection tools are saying here. We punch in Josh Giddey's name. He's projected for 21.6 points plus rebounds. All right, 21.6 when you combine the points and the rebounds. At 22.5, slight betting favorite to go over. He's even as high as 23.5 out on PointsBet. Well, what happens when you break these apart? Well, just as points on their own, 15.5 points. He's a slight betting favorite on some books to go over, slight betting favorite on others to go under. So I would say most books have him as a slight betting favorite to go over. He's projected for 14.4 points. What about the rebounds? They're sitting at 7.5 on their own. Got him projected for 7.2 boards. At 7.5 on most sports books, more juice coming in on the under than the over. Minus 130 to minus 138. That's kind of your range when you talk about the odds on the under for the rebounds. So I think Giddey looks like he's in a good spot, especially in that alternate prop line that you're getting. The 15 points, the 6 boards. I think you take that. That would be my way to go. Anyway, Kristen Porzingis. Now, is that a mistake, or did you mean to say Kristen? You know his name's Kristaps Porzingis. Luis Quinones says, can you talk about Porzingis under on his rebounds? Whew. Under on KP6's rebounds. Let's look at it. I think Bradley Beal's supposed to be re-entering the mix here for the Washington Wizards. I don't know if that impacts Porzingis positively, negatively in terms of rebounds, but you guys are talking about Porzingis' rebounds at 9.5 and wanting to go under against a really bad Oklahoma City Thunder team. Why do I say that they're bad? Well, the Thunder are bad. When you look at the numbers, you go to the center position, which is where Porzingis spends a majority of his minutes. 16.7 rebounds given up per game. Guys, that's the 5th most. The 5th highest amount of rebounds on a per game basis that any team is giving up to the center position, which is where Porzingis plays. And you're wanting to go under on this? What to do? I think it looks like a fade. If you're thinking about going under, I mean, I get it. But to me, it's a plus matchup for him, man. Plus matchup for him. Let me look at something real quick. If we go Kristaps Porzingis rebounds with Bradley Beal this season, followed by the word logs, because everybody likes a good log. What do we have here? All right, Bradley Beal's coming back. Kristaps Porzingis needs 10 boards. He's played 9 games with Beal, right? How many times he's gone over out of those 9 games? 1, 2, 3, 4 times out of 9. So more often than not, he stays under 10 rebounds with Bradley Beal back in the lineup. And now I'm pretty sure Bradley Beal's coming back. Let's just double check. Beal conditioning is off the injury report for Wednesday's game against the Thunder as expected. Beal will return Wednesday after 5 games missed due to COVID-19 protocols and subsequent conditioning issues. All right. So yeah, Bradley Beal's coming back. So he's 4 for 9. Is that what we said? 4 for 9 in games played with Bradley Beal. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So more often than not, he has stayed under. But this is, again, a plus matchup. You can even take this research a bit further here. You could go Kristaps Porzingis rebounds versus Thunder logs. Now, we don't want to go too far back in time here, but he has played the Oklahoma City Thunder a few times here in recent years. I mean, last year, while still with Dallas, recorded 8 rebounds against the Oklahoma City Thunder in 28 minutes played. Going back a little bit further, end of 2021, still last season, 7 rebounds against OKC in that game. Okay, so those were his last 2 games. Those were both from last season as a member of Dallas. 8 boards, 7 boards. Little different situation. He's on a different team. He's with the Wizards. He's not with Dallas anymore. We know that. But that doesn't change the fact that the matchup looks really good for him. Let's go look at the rebound chances for my guy, Kristaps Porzingis. We're going to take this, switch it from OKC to Washington. We're going to click Get Stats, and we're going to go down here and remove the 5-game filter. We want to look at the season numbers, season totals. 14.2 rebound chances per game for the season, which means he's going to have to be very efficient, highly efficient on those 14.2 chances, right? 10 for 14 is what he would have to do, and I think that's asking a lot. He's averaging 8.2 rebounds per game. Beal's going to be back in the mix. Maybe it impacts him a little bit in terms of rebounds. But yeah, I mean, if you want to go under on Kristaps Porzingis rebounds, do so sparingly, meaning don't have him in every single entry or anything crazy like that. But at 9.5 boards, he's a betting favorite to go under, according to all the sports books I can reference. -125, -130 on a lot of these sites. Projected for 8.5 boards. That's a whole rebound less than 9.5. That's 1.5 rebounds less than what he would need to go over at 9.5. He needs 10 boards. He's projected for 8.5, a 1.5 rebound difference. So despite a great matchup, he's projected to go under. He's a betting favorite to go under. And hasn't had great success against the Thunder in 2 games last season. All right, there you go. James LaForce says he's liking some Mason Plumlee for points. Mason Plumlee for points. Wow. We've reached that point in the season, guys. We're going Mason Plumlee for 9 or more points against Indiana. Maybe it's not so crazy, but he will probably be matched up against shot blocker, defense extraordinaire Miles Turner, right? I think Miles Turner is expected to play. So how will Mason Plumlee fare against Miles Turner in this Indiana Pacers front court? Well, let's go look at the game logs here for Mason Plumlee, a name that I don't click on a whole lot, especially not for points, but could be in a good spot. You know, things could be working out in his favor at 9 points. Let's take a look at it. Let's just bump him down to 8.5. You can see all the games that are 9 or above, right? Games in which he's had 9 or above are highlighted green. So he's done so in 8 out of 15 games. 9 or better in 8 out of 15, just a 53% hit rate. Things have really picked up for him in the last 5 games, though. You can see he's had 9 or more in 4 out of his last 5, averaging a healthy 12.4 points per game. Had 18 points against my Orlando Magic. Oh, yeah, it's true. He did that. Against Indiana last season, he played Indiana a total of 4 times, went 0 for 4 against the Pacers with 8, 5, 8, and 7. That was last season. Take that for what you will. All right. Going down here, looking at the Pacers as far as where they rank. Well, they're giving up a lot of points per game, 26th most. A lot of threes per game. Doesn't really matter to Plumlee. He's not shooting threes. 3-point percentage. Again, doesn't really matter to Plumlee. He's not shooting threes. They do rank 11th in center defense, so that's a pretty high number. Difficult matchup for Mason Plumlee. A lot of points in this game, though. 233.5 total points. I like this game, but I don't know if I like Mason Plumlee points for this game. Let's get you a projection here. Well, before we go to the projection, let's first look at the DVP, the matchup, right? Indiana Pacers, I'm imagining they're going to be... Oh, wow. They're at the top. I thought they were going to be closer toward the bottom, but yeah, they're giving up about 27 points per game to centers, gang. LaMelo Ball is back. Gordon Hayward is out. Let's look at something real quick here. Maybe LaMelo Ball helps Mason Plumlee out when it comes to scoring the basketball. Maybe he sets him up, sets the table for him. Mason Plumlee points with LaMelo Ball logs. Let's look at it. So he's got, won 2 games this season in which he's played with LaMelo. He is 2 for 2 at 9 or better with LaMelo Ball. Scored 9 against Miami, 18, as I mentioned, against Orlando. So 2 for 2 this season at 9 or better with LaMelo. But you go back to last season. Now, last season's a little different, right? You probably got Gordon Hayward in the lineup. You probably have Miles Bridges in the lineup. So there's probably less opportunities for shots for a guy like Mason Plumlee. A lot of these games you're going to see he went under 9 points. But again, different cast of characters than what will be on the floor tonight for Charlotte. So keep that in mind. All right, now let's get you a projection on his points. He's at 9 on PrizePicks. He needs at least 9 tonight so that we don't lose money, right? Well, he's projected for about 11. Projected for about 11. He's at 9.5 on the books. They have bumped him down to 9 on PrizePicks because if you go and look at the action on these books, minus 130 betting favorite to go under, minus 135. So maybe you take a shot at 9. Take the over. He very well could tie, very well could push. The matchup looks okay, though. Decent matchup. I mean, 27 points per game given up by Indiana. What about Mason Plumlee points versus Miles Turner logs? I'm really going down the rabbit hole now on this one. Against Miles Turner, he has only gone over 9 points in 1, 2, 3 games in his career. Is it something or is it nothing? You tell me. Take a shot, man. But don't take too many shots with Mason Plumlee. Is Giddey's PRA better? Maybe he can get some dimes. You could go Giddey for PRA. What is Giddey's PRA sitting at? He's sitting at a healthy little 28.5 PRA. Let's go look at Giddey. He's at 26.9 projected points, rebounds, and assists. He's at 28.5 on most sites, but is as high as 29.5 on some other books. So, yeah, the PRA at 28.5, you're getting a discount as compared to some of these other sports books out there. So, perhaps, Giddey, PRA is the value. What else are you guys liking? What are you guys thinking so far? I'm just taking your questions, kind of a Q&A type of day. That's how I'm feeling about it. I'll take a couple more from you guys. Joy Boy Exotic says, DeAndre Jordan, I'm assuming you mean under? DeAndre, maybe you go under on him. Trey Prince says, I would never play his points, to be honest. You talking about Mason Plumlee? I feel you, brother. I feel you. Magikarp Johnson says, anybody liking Booker for his points tonight? I'm going to wait and see on the Chris Paul news before I take any Phoenix Suns props. Yeah, we're still waiting on Chris Paul news. I still have him listed as a game time decision. He's considered questionable versus the Warriors. He's been listed as questionable for his last 3 absences, so his questionable label for Wednesday doesn't really give us much information. Cameron Payne should operate as the team's primary point guard, again, if Chris Paul remains sidelined. So we're waiting and seeing on the Chris Paul news. At least I am. I'm not going to go there. Not going to go there until I get some CP3 news. Kelly Oubre first half points. So I went Terry Rozier first half points the other day. He ended up falling short, and what was a good matchup against Orlando. For whatever reason, he just didn't get it done. He was deferring a whole lot. Kelly Oubre is now down to 9.5. I think he was at 10.5 first half points in his last game against Orlando. So he fell short too at 10.5, but he's at 9.5 today instead of 10.5. So Kelly Oubre, you crack this thing open and you're seeing a whole lot of green for Kelly Oubre. So we could run this back like we did for Mason Plumlee. Kelly Oubre first half points logs. Oh, and I want to go this season specifically. All right. So you can see at 9.5 points, he's covered this in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games in a row. 10 for 10 at 10 or more first half points. He also had 10 in the season opener for him, his season debut, 10-19-2022. He hit 10 points. So he's hit 10 or more, 10 straight games, 11 out of 15. 11 out of 15 overall. That's a pretty high hit rate. Now, what about Kelly Oubre first half points logs with LaMelo Ball? We're curious around here. We like to see these things. We like to know what's happening. First half points with LaMelo Ball. Again, keep in mind, Gordon Hayward, Miles Bridges probably played in a lot of these games. So the usage for Kelly Oubre, not going to be what it is. Tonight, he's going to have more usage. No Bridges, no Hayward. But in the last 2 games, both from this season, with LaMelo Ball, he's had 10 and 15 points respectively, right? We go back to some of these games from last season, he wasn't hitting 10 first half points very often. But again, different cast of characters tonight for this Charlotte Hornets squad. How's the matchup looking? Well, you got PJ Washington as your power forward. You got Mason Plumlee as your center. So I think that puts Oubre as the small forward tonight. Terry Rozier, LaMelo Ball, your 2 backcourt players. So small forwards against the Indiana Pacers. Pacers are giving up over 25 points per game. That is the fourth most to opposing small forwards. All right. Looking like a good matchup on paper. There's only 3 teams giving up more points per game to small forwards. So I think there's a really good chance that he keeps the streak alive. He's got a 10-game streak where he's hit 10 or more first half points. He's 2 for 2 with LaMelo Ball so far this season. I can't get you a first half projection, but I can get you a full game projection. Kind of just, see how he's projecting over, full game. His full game is at 19.6. His line is at 18.5. At 18.5, he's a betting favorite to go over. So the betting public seems to think that Oubre's in for a good night tonight. The projection models that Fantasy Labs has, they seem to think Oubre's in a good spot tonight at 19.6. So I think this makes for a fine option. I think we can click the more on Kelly Oubre first half points. So shout out to who brought that one up. I want to give credit, kudos. Was that CXR Skills? Maybe there was a couple of you. But yeah, I think that looks like a strong way to go. Strong way to go. Of course, there are no locks, right? There's no locks in this game. There's no guarantees. But that looks pretty good. Appreciate the sub, Nick. Again, guys, if you guys want to get your hands on a risk-free 2-pick to score $100, basically like a chance to win $100, right? On PrizePicks, all you have to do is make sure you're a subscriber. Make sure you've liked today's video. And when the replay goes up, you go to the comments section, comment your favorite pick of the day. You'll automatically be entered to win a risk-free 2-pick. You get both picks right, $100 in your PrizePicks account. So that's how you guys can get your hands on some free promo money. Dave is saying that Plum Lord is a lock. What is he a lock for? The points that we discussed? You guys are saying, do Kuzma and Beal. Oh, man, I could sit here all day and look stuff up for you guys, but we've reached about the 1 hour mark, gang. Dave says, everything for Plumlee. I hear you. Well, listen, with that being said, guys, stay on top of the news. There's going to be some pending news that are definitely going to shake things up, open up value for us. All right. I'm going to get out of here. The big news of the day, though, is PrizePicks introducing a 6-pick flex option, which can get you up to 25 times your cash. And with it being happy hour today, you could put in $1, turn it into $25. Might be a good day to experiment with this new 6-pick flex option. Give it a try. I might dabble a little bit. Not going to lie. Might dabble a little bit. Not going to go crazy, but pretty cool that PrizePicks continues to offer more ways to get your hands on more money. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one and good luck. Peace.